go sit on that big rock. Gosh, I want to do it right now. As they would say in Great Britain, I completely forgot my swimming costume. How embarrassing. As our old family friend, kids said when we went to the pool when they moved back to the States after living in England. So, looking for birds. I saw a bald eagle earlier today. There's a great blue heron, a couple ospreys hunting. There's some turtles over there. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, British children. It would be nice to have a British child. They're very adorable. They're cute little accents. Of course, there's only two ways to go about that. Either you move to England and, you know, let them go to school there. Or, well, there's three. The other option is if you are British, then you know, keep your children cloistered and never expose them to... never expose them to anything other than your own British accent and British television and homeschool them. Or, since I don't have that option, since I am not in fact British, you just put on an accent. You just make one up. It can be a shitty accent too. Kids don't know the difference. It's got to be enough so that they, you know, say, hello, mummy. I saw just the most cutest, adorable video I ever saw recently. It was a little British 3-year-old girl holding a puppy and calling it a puppy. Oh, you have a puppy. Anyway, that's all I got to say for now. But I'm a man of action, not just words. So I'm going to throw this rock into that river. And here's an interesting thought. I may be the very last person that ever exists to touch this rock till the end of all time. I mean, the odds are pretty low that anybody else will if I throw it in there. Bam. Ripples are so cool, and you don't really notice them. At least I don't really notice them normally because I just sort of, oh my god, it's a river. But like when you sit by it and you just watch it, you start to notice just how orderly and mathematical it all is. It's all, and how, what's really cool is how there will be different layers of ripples that cross each other, and they do cause some disruption, but for the most part, the ripple still continues on with the energy that of the force that kicked it off. Well, that's cool. Where was I going with this? Shoot. I was talking about energy. It was something space travel related. What was it? It's gonna drive me crazy, but I'm not gonna worry about it for now. I was just gonna say, I do have some spaceship related stuff that I'm thinking about, but I was gonna say that it's really cool to discover that even, you know, if you go to a place like this and sit there for 10 minutes or half an hour, or go for a walk, you know, for half hour, 10 minutes out in nature, you come back and it didn't really do much for you because you didn't really immerse yourself in it. And so when you immerse yourself in nature, it starts talking to you and giving you signs, and you start seeing the way it fluctuates, and you start to develop an intuition about that. And I think that for me at least, in order to develop that and understand patterns in nature, whether they're ripples or seasons or the food chain, stuff like that, ecosystems, that I want to get the most out of it that I can, and I've just realized that for me at least, this isn't for everybody. I want to just let nature settle me down, and yeah, like, and then you can see, and then you start being able to perceive the subtler hints, like the subtlety of ripples. Yeah, so I'm getting spacey and drained out. So I'm losing track of my thoughts. I swear I'm not high. Even though I'm feeling kind of loopy. So last summer, I made a resolution to go out and spend time in nature. And so every day I would go for like a half-hour walk, or I would run, or I would go to Bear's Den. But I would only do it briefly, and I'd be like, well, half an hour of this it's nice, but it gets really boring and dreary. And then it starts to suck. You're like, if I can't stand half an hour of this, how am I gonna? You just imagine the longer you're there, the more bored you get. That in 3 hours, it's just going to be compounded, and it's the exact opposite. It actually settles you down, and it's kind of like micro dosing versus real tripping. It has its use. It's good, and it was a good start last year. Yeah, I had to start somewhere. And I thought, I could use nature BandAids. I've heard that used by a guy who gave a talk, and it was about what's wrong with architecture and city planning in current times, and how architects and planners will come up with a really horrible, ugly box of a building, and then put a little strip of grass in the front, or plant some flowers, and that's a nature BandAid. Well, for me, I just am borrowing the term to say that that relative to what I need, going for a walk every day, or even running every day, is just not enough. And because of my depression and stuff. And some people don't need, that nature time. I think everybody does, but I think some people can be happy without it because they might not have time to do it because they're taking care of their kids, and that person's kids provide a sense of meaning and happiness and purpose that I do not have. And so what, if I was married and had kids, maybe I would just be at home hanging out with the wife and kids, which would be great. Nothing wrong with that, but I don't have that right now. And so my path has led me to the conclusion this year that spiritually connecting to nature is my sort of religious tradition, I guess you could say. It's not really a religious tradition. I'm kind of making it up as I go along, but I am doing shamanic work. I no longer refer to myself as a shaman. I just, if I'm going to reference the fact that I practice it, it's just going to be like, oh, I practice shamanism. There's less ego in that. It's amazing what being free of your ego does in making you look back and be like, holy shit, I didn't realize just how miserable I was actually making myself feel. But I thought I was making myself feel good. And so when I say I'm free of ego, I am not saying I am free of its presence in my life. As if it vanished, like Eckhart Tolle does. When I say enlightenment is a tricky topic to broach because there's a lot of misunderstandings of it. And for me, I've had quote-unquote enlightenment experiences, and they are of the same nature as like full-blown Satori that is permanent, right? It's not. I haven't achieved that type of enlightenment, but the door that I opened, the type of wisdom and peace that I got, is the same stuff. The same thing. It's just not at its full development right now. But like, if you want to share like what you're thinking about and feeling, because like I like to share, I like to talk to people, but it's hard to have something that matters a lot to you, your spiritual journey, and not be able to say what it is because you'll sound egotistical. And so that's why I just don't use the term enlightenment. I've also realized that there is a spectrum of different types and degrees of enlightenment, which is really helpful to hear, because I read Alan Watts' book History of Zen, and it was really fascinating. Some actually great stories. I don't remember them all, but when it talks about an individual character, each one of these Zen master stories included the story of how and when they became enlightened. Like somebody said, like the master said something and they responded correctly and suddenly they were enlightened, that sort of thing. And I was like, oh, I guess that's how it works. It's either the real deal or it's not. You're either enlightened or you're not. And no, I'm not gonna deal with the bullshit expression. Well, when you become enlightened, you actually realize you've always been enlightened, and now you just realize it. That is the worst. I can explain it a lot better than that, I think. I would say that enlightenment is the experience of the sleeper awakening and realizing that there was never any break in conscious I lost my train of thought. But this is just me getting back into vlogging, so fuck it, I don't care. So the crazy thing is, the more you try to make something perfect, the less real it becomes, and so it smell, and it loses some of that authenticity. Not always, but I do know that my perfectionism is to excess, and I would say that I am a true perfectionist. I think that most people would say, yeah, I'm a perfectionist, but they're not really, because you gotta be more perfectionist than the average person. If you're only as perfectionist as the average person, well, yeah, you've got perfectionist tendencies, right? Everybody does at some point, but that doesn't make you a perfectionist person. It's not like something you struggle with, you know? It's kind of like somebody saying they have OCD because they're very organized. They're actually complimenting themselves. And it's mean to all those TikTok fakers of mental illness cringe. I mean, I saw a TikTok video where this girl said she had OCD, and there were all these people like, no, it's fake. Look how fake it is. And I'm like, oh yeah? Well, check out this video. You didn't see her latest video, huh? Watch it, because I watched it. You know what I saw? I saw her flip that light switch 20 times. I counted them in a row. Okay, like, why would you even have the attention span to go through that monotonous task? On and on. Click, 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 click. You ready yet? So, but she has alters, so it's only one of her alters is OCD. That's alters are the terms for people that either fake the idea or believe it. They have it. My phone's about to die. I'll end it there.